was gone for 2 weeks and we got like 12 inches of rain. Look at this garden. Lovely. And I know it's no great big production garden like some of you true homesteaders have, but I'm getting there. I'm just really excited because it is the biggest garden I've had in, since I was in high school. Over 20 years. Well, no, not over 20 years. 15, 16, 17 years, something like that. No? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Big garden. So you guys remember from the last video, sweet corn all out there, bush beans, burgundy okra, all this stuff that looks like weeds, that's actually radish seed that's coming back up from the field radish that went to seed and then sprouted back up. So burgundy okra, cucumbers, cantaloupe, and watermelon. And then back there in the corner, we've got zucchini and yellow squash. So yeah, and a whole bunch more radish seed that's resprouting. And the radish seed, honestly, I'm gonna leave it because I'm just gonna trample it down in the rows, or you know, I'll dig it out if it's right around the base of the plant. But otherwise, I'll just leave it, let it do its radish thing. The whole reason I put it there was to, you know, sprout, germinate down, and help keep this soil loose. So might as well leave it as much as I can. I'm not gonna pull it up and take it out. So it's competing for nutrients in a sense, but at the same time, it's just going to get mowed off and left right there in the garden, so those nutrients will stay right there. Maybe leave it add some more because we'll pull some from there. And maybe pull some up from down deeper. What else we got? The tomatoes, of course, doing lovely, which I think it's just a variety thing. Some of them got real lanky on me. They were all real bushy and tight before I left, but now they've gotten a little more lanky. But you can see some maters in there coming on. There's some big ones there. I think that's actually either a beefsteak or an old German. I can't remember which one. I think old German. The potatoes are still a little stunted, but they're at least looking better since we weeded them out, which we need to weed them out again. The rain definitely encourages the weeds just as much as it encourages the garden plants. A lot of Roma tomatoes. We kind of focused on the Romas because they're more of a sauce tomato, or a salsa tomato. So we planted mostly Romas, just a couple of the bigger ones just for some slicing tomatoes for fun. The peppers, they're bouncing back fine. You know, they look fine the last time. Actually, I'm starting to see some blooms. There's some little blooms about to pop open, so we'll have some peppers coming in. The potatoes down on this end of the row are looking, well, they were looking better, but yeah, I don't know. They're not looking as good as they were, actually. So probably ought to get those dug up here in the next couple days because they're starting to yellow and die back. I don't know if that was the heat or, again, if it was just us rooting around them too much when we weeded them. But it's getting about too hot for potatoes down here anyway, so we'll get them yanked out. But the rest of the garden is kind of the same old story. Getting taken over with weeds, pretty heavy. Most of my spring flowers that were in the blackberry row have just about died back, but I'm getting more and more blackberry coming in. So again, these were all the ones from the root cuttings. They're all the thornless upright varieties, Arapahoes or Navajos or something like that. Wachitas, I can't remember. So I'll have to do some work to get them cleaned up because like I said, I was avoiding hoeing and digging in this row really until more of the blackberries sprouted and while the spring flowers were going. So anyway, they're doing great. This blackberry is actually a cheat. This isn't one of the ones I planted this spring. That's a transplant out of a pot that we found. But that's pretty much it. I've got feral sunflowers. I call them feral sunflowers. They're sprouting up all over the place because we mix black oil sunflower seed in the goat feed, and the goats don't always eat all of it. And so then when we clean out the goat pen, we end up with sunflower seeds in the compost pile, which is quite fun. Oh, look. Hey, here's a flower. This is so exciting to me. Maybe I don't sound entirely excited. Oh, here's my Freedom Primark blackberries. So those are the Primacane thornless. So they're bushing out quite well. I mean, you can't even tell anymore. I think this here, that was the original plant right there. So all of this is all new growth. I don't know if this year, if they'll fruit this year or not. I don't really suspect that they will, even though they are technically Primacane. I think by the time they get up to a point that they could fruit this year, I think they'll already be kind of too late in the year. I'll tell you what, the mosquitoes are back though. Doggone it. One thing I actually appreciate about going to Arizona, no mosquitoes. They are thick here. Look at that. Ain't that pretty? That really is pretty. I mean, see, what's the harm? What's the harm in planting some flowers in your garden? None. Ooh, but you know what? That's nasty. That big sucker. I hate those things. Those aren't nettles. That's something different. Might as well be nettles though. Those things stink too. So I got to get some leather gloves and come back out here at some point today and start uprooting at least the biggest, nastiest weeds, the most noxious weeds. I don't really care about the little or green stuff that just kind of grows in the compost. I just don't like the great big ones that are thorny or prickly. Yeah, I think I told you guys the apple trees, the Granny Smith apples, finally woke up. They don't have a lot on them though. They just want to grow right up there at the very tip. They're not really, oh, here we go. Got a little branch coming out down here on the side. That's good. That's about the height. Well, no, right about here, I think. It's about 4 feet is where I'd really like to start, training them and bending them over. But I'm a little nervous to start training these Granny Smiths because they just don't have a whole lot of growth. Well, that's right at the graft. I need to probably cut that off. I think it's above the graft, but it's too low down from where I really want to train the tree. Anyway, I don't really have anything else to show you guys. Just super excited that the garden is hopping as good as it is. Spring is sprung. The poor little pear tree looks like it's forever bent over there. That's a pineapple pear. I had it bent up on itself and wrapped in plastic when we got that last frost. That's been, geez, 6 weeks ago? At least 6 weeks ago. And it it just never did quite straighten back up. They're flimsy things until they get bigger and stronger. Yeah, it's getting warm and we had lots of rain. Now the weeds will really come in. If you thought they were bad before, that humidity starts staying up there. Yes, sir. You can't hardly kill them. You cut them off, they just come right back. And with all those tons of rain, of course, my puddles are all filled up. So I got to get this one pumped out the rest of the way. This one I'm trying to get filled in. And the main pond in the back is darn near completely full and had a couple breaches. So you guys got to watch my dirt work videos if you want to see more of that. But it's just me running these water pumps like crazy. Hey, look, more sunflower seeds. Excuse me. My wife spilled a wheelbarrow load of goat bedding. So there's your proof. That's where it all comes from. There's our kitty cat. Good morning, Ariel. Our goat kitty. This is the best, the world's best barn cat. Little bobtail. She thinks she's a goat. She stays with the goats. And she brings us dead varmints. What more could you ask for? All right. Really just want to talk about the garden. Super excited about the garden. I got to make a plan for a varmint fence, though. I got to get a hot wire out there because before long, the raccoons and the bunnies will find it, I'm sure. Okay, that's all.